Welcome back. Welcome back to Darren 67 to 72. Hi, my name's Darren. This week we're going to finish up this firewall. Not really. I didn't get this patch done over here. Got sidetracked. You know how I get. But I got to get this painted up. I'm probably going to put 2 coats over here anyway. So I thought we'd do this together. Why not? And then I ran out of paint. Well, I like to paint a lot of things with this shiny black. Remember the Catalyst 2-part black. Anyway, I want to get this sealed up so we can flip this truck up on the front, and then I'll probably scratch it and have to do it again, whatever. So I want to get this sealed up, start letting it get dried. So that's our first thing on my agenda today with whatever paint we got left. You guys don't want to just sit and watch you paint the whole time anyway. So as soon as we get a little painting done, we're going to come over here and we're going to start preparing ourselves for getting our seam sealer in all these places. I want to get them sealed up while the shop's still bone dry. It's wintertime. The humidity's way down. I like that better than trying to seal in with some moisture in the air. Yeah, maybe I'm worried about something that doesn't matter, but that's how I am. So we get all these seams all resealed. And before I do, I was going to start painting. I wanted to bring your attention to some things. Again, not every build do people even do this, but it's what I do. Around all these seams, wherever GM put these together, there is, I can't see in there. You guys are in my way. Can you see right here? There's all this. See that flying out of there? It's their old seam seal, whatever they used. I can't get a piece for you right there. It's hard, it's brittle, it's dried out. It's all got to come out. Just small screwdriver and pick at it. Put some safety glasses on because you're picking it at your face all the time. You'll get that paint and that sealer in your eye. You won't like it. It won't feel good. So I'm going to stop because I don't have my glasses on. But all the way around on all these. And then on the other side, I'll show you in a few minutes about this rubber. They glued this on. I don't know if that's original or not. It's hard to know with all these trucks. I've never found a truly, nobody's ever touched a single thing original. I thought mine was, but they're not glued in. They're pushed on. Maybe that's factory original. But either way, these were glued on. These were a good door seal, so I might go to glue on. I don't know yet. I mean, you only got to do it every 40 or 50 years, so I'm monkeying with this glue, and I'll show you how to get it off. We want to get it down to bare metal because when you take a knife in here and you cut all this rubber, you're cutting your paint down to the metal. When you come in here with a knife, cutting your paint down the metal. So that should all be cleaned out, wire wheeled, maybe even sanded a little. You're never going to see it. But just so your paint adheres. So all these door jambs need to be cut in and painted before we put the seal on, which won't be this week anyway, but that's how I am. So let's do a little painting. I'm in the mood. Start making something look like I'm getting some progress out of it. I know you guys are a little far away, but it's just paint. But I did get this all sealed inside this trough. So I can paint all this in here, get in behind there, and then I want to paint in there. You might ask why I'm painting the front first. I'll lean into it because I'm running low on paint. And I want to get a coat on this so I can put a second coat after I do the inside. And I am going to brush paint that. It takes a lot more time. I could just spray paint it in 3 minutes, but I don't believe in that as much. The spray paint is so thin that all the little bumps and whatever you have inside of there from past rust or whatever, it's not smooth. So when you paint it with a thin film spray paint, those little bumps and protrusions will stick through your paint, maybe microscopically, but it will, allowing a place for water to get in. So I'm not a big just spray paint it kind of guy. I'll brush paint it first. I'll let that cure. I'll brush paint it, then I'll spray paint where I can't reach any place I can't get my brush. I will spray paint with my good paint. Maybe 2 coats of that, and then I'll come back in when I'm done and do some spraying undercoating just to make sure it's sealed really good. You do get a lot of water in here. Every time it rains, car wash, even if you're washing the car off with your garden hose, you're going to wash the truck. A ton of water comes in here. Everything off the windshield ends up through here and down through these fans. So enough lecture on that. As you see, I did get this part done. It's all re-welded in and a nice new piece. You can't tell. The ribbing on the top is the same. The flanges are all the same. I just, believe it or not, why bother doing body fill? It's under the hood. I can't help it. Just to smooth it out a touch. Let's start there. I'm going to start, I usually start like in the middle and work away from my shirt. Not that this is a good shirt, but nonetheless. We got a fair amount of paint in here. I can get something done today. But I wanted to show you just the difference and how quick this really seals things up. Makes it look decent. Can you see? Not really. Let me get you over here a little closer. How's that? That a little better? I don't know. Now it's just a lot of dark. Yeah, that'll show you what I'm up to. Now I'm not going to go all crazy up on this part here. It's already got one coat on it. But I wanted to show you the difference in just how quick this seals and completely coats that seam seal that I put in there. Like, well, somebody might say you need to prime it, and you don't need to prime this. Always get a little bit of my brush. All right. You can't see in the trough either, can you? Doggone it, cameras. But you get the point. Now, somebody's saying right now, you can't paint right over body fill. Yeah, you can. The reason we don't like to do it so much anymore is if this was on a rocker and it was going to get stone chips or something on it, once you get a stone chip in it, look at the bristles coming out of these cheap brushes I buy. Go figure. We'll put them down in this hole and help seal that off for the water. Back to what I was saying. Why you don't have to prime it first is the likelihood of this chipping. Is chipping a word? You know me. Chipping and then absorbing water is pretty slim. First off, it's probably not going to chip anyway. I want to show you in there. It's just crazy how quick this covers and how nice it just. I'm a real fan of this paint. I'm going to get you where you can see in there a little bit. All right, there's our seam sealer down in there. Lower center of your screen. And that's that, whatever they call it, beige. We'll be using some more of that today if you stick around. And it kind of looks ugly because there's places you can see through it and all. It's not designed to be a covering, designed to be a sealer. And it just like that, you can get her covered right up. Now I'll get carried away painting, and I'll be here all day because it's the part that starts looking good. You're like, man, I like this, looking sharp. I'm using probably a little heavy on the paint down in this area. It's flat and level, so it's going to dry. It's not going to drip anywhere, and it's going to seal up a lot of these. Looks like I could have used a little more sealer right there. I don't know. I'm too picky. Up in tight. But that really does come up nice quick. And then you can see the shiny part down here maybe. No, not out of camera. But it's all it takes is one quick coat like that. And man, that is just going to be sealed up great. Some of you guys that aren't maybe as picky as me won't care about this, but I try to do 4 or 5 minimum brush strokes. Kind of work it in. And what I mean by that is, even if it isn't porous, it helps you get a good adhesion. Another word. I make up words all the time. Adhesion, that's a word. Look it up. Probably not. It adheres better, rubbing it into those grooves and crevices and all that kind of stuff. Now this part here, I didn't have to do anything. Mainly because this part's all going to be covered. Not up here, but down here. But I can't help myself. When we get the air conditioning unit, it has a big plate that covers this whole section with a new air conditioner. So this wouldn't have to be painted. Nobody would ever know. And as you see, I'm not slowing down a bit. I want to coat of paint on it. I don't want moisture getting between it, causing any kind of rust. Rust is not my fan. I'm not a friend of rust, because rust has never been a good friend to me. All right. Oh, I got new viewers this week, and I didn't even write them down. I can't remember. A couple new viewers, a couple new subscribers. Thanks for coming along. I'll mention your name probably next week. I think I got a Jeff. So welcome, Jeff. You're always welcome to come and ask questions. If I don't have the answer, which a lot of times I don't, I'll find it. I'll look it up. I'll search around if it's truck related. Okay, it probably doesn't have to be. My way, this way, that way. Everybody has a way. I told you weren't going to be able to know. You can't tell, except there's a bristle mark right in my part. I got it. I don't want anybody to ever say, "What's that?" It turned out really nice for not even being body work. And what I mean is, it's not even a place that really is going to show. Oh, well. Let me just finish this part out so we can move along. Otherwise, I probably won't forget, but I like to just get at least one spot done before I move on. And another thing with this paint being that it is got, boy, I'm terrible with English today. Because it has hardener in it, it makes it shinier. It makes it a little bit thinner. So it will tend to run a little more than if you hadn't used the hardener. But without the hardener, you'd have to wait, I don't know, 6 or 8 weeks. Yeah, I know. You don't believe me. It takes forever to dry on its own. It won't cure up. And then even when it does, it's not as hard. We've had lectures about paint before. I'm not going to get into it. But be aware, with the hardener in there, it's a little thinner and it will tend to run on you. I usually wait 10 minutes, go do something else, come back and see if you have any sags or drips or anything. You can usually touch them up. And because it dries fairly slow, your touch-ups will, the paint brush marks will tend to fade back out. So there we go for now. You guys see what I'm doing. I'll finish painting it. When? Later. Okay. Yes. Oh, I want to get this part. Yes, I flip my camera around and do this and that. And I'm using the one that works better for me, but it doesn't like the lighting as much. Too light in here. Too bright in here for it. But this week I knew I was going to be moving you around a lot, and I want to be able to see where you're at. So there's that. Get this trough painted in good. I won't do all the face with you guys, but I do want to get this trough painted before I run out of paint in time. We'll move along to the sides here in a second, where the door seals, and I also want to seam seal the back of the truck at the top. Keep any water and dirt and dust out of that. Just take a second. And because it's going to be a finished part of the truck right on the roof, I want to go really thin with the seam seal. Yeah, you can sand it off, but that's hard on sandpaper. It'll fill sandpaper up pretty quick. And hand sanding, it's not fun. One coat on this seam seal. This is our most critical leak point down in here. So I definitely want to have a couple coats of paint on it. And this one will set up probably before I leave tonight. And then I can put a second one on this trough area. You want to put your second coat on before it cures, because once it cures, you'll have to sand it. Just, rough it up so there's a place for the paint to stick. Did I keep going? I know it. I can't help it. Get the paint and I can't stop. I picked up some white paint, brush on like this, same stuff. just because maybe there's some places in the door jamb that will want to use a heavier paint. I don't really have a specific place right now for it, but I thought there'd be an occasion to use it on this particular truck, so it's something I had laying around. I always gotta have stock. Well, ran out of stock on the black paint, but we have enough to work today. Yeah, it's coming along. I know I said I was going to keep going. All right, I'm going to get going. Just hang on. That's enough for now. I can put this down. All right, where are we heading now? That's going to look good, shiny. Let's head around to, well, we're going to go the long way around. Come around the driver's side. I haven't done a lot of work on the driver's side, but I have done some work on the passenger side. This here's been all, I've cleaned out a lot of it. This seam here has to be cleaned, and this one a little better. And of course, our rubber molding around here. But the rest of this hasn't been messed with too bad, too much. I shouldn't say bad. That's all you get right there. Okay, now, and I haven't messed with this either. I did put a little primer on it so I could see where I scratched it. I touched up a little there and some down there. I don't bother you guys with all that stuff. We'll get to that eventually. Over here is where I want to, I know, it's where we started. I remember. Oh, yeah. You guys probably seen that too. Please like and subscribe. It's fun. It's good to do. If you don't like and subscribe, you're never going to know what I'm doing. And I do stuff. I do stuff. It's sometimes fun to watch. Sometimes you'll catch me tripping and falling or goofing around and creating a mess or having a problem. I don't know. I didn't come prepared. I did, but this is a sealer I like. I got another brand out the other day, and I wasn't very happy with it. It was too thick, too hard to push out of the gun. I'm still going to use it, but I'll use it in less critical areas. But just like the way this one flows, comes out of the gun pretty good. And after you're done wiping it down with your finger or whatever you use, it settles a little better. I got it from LMC. I'm sure you can buy it somewhere else, but that's just where I bought it. I can't read the name because it's all cursive. You know, nobody can read cursive anymore. I don't think these kids even know what cursive means. I jumped ahead. We don't need the seam sealer. We're getting seam sealer out right now. We're not putting it back in. Looks like AUVE Co. Alco? I don't know. Let's just go with the part number. Can we do that? Well, that's LMC's part number. What's on this? Look at there, made in America. Can't beat that. See? This camera whites out. There you go. You can kind of see it. All right, I'll read it to you even. Oh, that's a batch number. Why would we care what batch number it is? We want to know what number, just what number it is. I don't know. There, find it. Maybe I'll find it for you. I'm done talking about it. Let's move on. Got more to do. All right, that's going to be it for up top when we get up there in just a minute. I want to make sure some comes out. This is an old tube. That don't sound good. Oh, there it comes. We're in good shape. All right, we'll leave that up there. It'll probably drip all over the top. So what I like to use on this glued on rubber stuff is a wire wheel. I usually like a flat one, but today I've got this style. I don't know, cone, face type. And I have an off-brand, well, not really. It's a Craftsman, not an off-brand, but it runs slower and it doesn't have as much power. And you would think, well, that's junk. Well, on applications like this, it's kind of good to have one of these because you can run it. And it don't jump out of your hands. I put that in my DeWalt or maybe a Milwaukee or something, and this thing will just gouge and fly around. But you do that, and it melts part of it, and it re-sticks. Yeah, it's not fun, but you can tell when you hit the rubber with it or the glue, it goes easy and then it kind of slows down. And just kind of work it in there. Now, we're finally past every time I sand on something, or every time I take this and I start grinding on something, I don't smell mouse anymore. No more mouse pee. And that's kind of nice. But when you're grinding on something like this, wire wheeling on some rubber and some glue, yeah, it smells like burnt tires in here. Which, by the way, I love. I was thinking one time, you guys tell me, I have a lot of great ideas and I don't put them into production. And through my life, there's a few things I've come up with that somebody made, and I make money off it. I should have done something. So I'm going to share this idea with you. Don't you guys dare take off and make this. But I'm thinking about making a new men's cologne. You know, real men cologne. And it's going to be called Essence of Burning Rubber. And it's going to have the smell, like, you know, when you spin your tires when you're in Mexico, and the smoke comes off and you get that smell, that burnt rubber. I like that smell. Tell me what you think. It's just one of my ideas. I might throw a few more of them at you as time moves on, if I can trust you. All right. All right, you get the idea. You see how long we're going to be here. I don't know. I got it pretty clean. Then I'll wipe it down with something to get the sticky off it later. I say later again. So I'll be here for a couple hours doing that. You guys don't need to watch that all day. But I want to get them all cleaned out. Then we can paint this real good. You're never going to see anything but white. In the future, somebody's going to ask, was white the original color? As far as I'm concerned, they're not going to be able to know. I should have pretty much all this teal covered everywhere and anywhere you can find it. Yeah, I think so. Maybe underneath. We'll see when we get to that part. But what I want to do, I don't know if you guys are going to be tall enough. What I want to do next is this seam up here. Now, it don't look very good because of the rust, but I cleaned it out real good. If you remember, I used that rust converter in there twice, wet it way down inside. Now, recently, I used a soft wire brush and I cleaned it out again, and then I blew it out with compressed air. I want to get that sealed because we're going to get to that, and I want it dry before we get into the muggy summer season. So I don't know where I'm going to put you guys where you can see. You're going to want to see, don't you? I didn't think of this. Look at there. Got no place to put you. Is that going to stand there? I don't think that's going to stay there. I don't know what to do. I wanted to get that done. I'm not a high production guy. I don't know how all this stuff works. I don't know. Is that going to work? Nope. Almost. I don't know. You could definitely see what I'm talking about. I wish I was up there. Right there. I don't have something to put you on right there. I know. Poor production. What am I going to do? All right. I got an idea. Just hang on. That's why I wanted this camera today. So I had some idea what I was looking at. Well, that's pretty good. All right, let's get this done. This seam right here is what I'm talking about. Now you don't want to try and shave it or eliminate it or make it where you can't see, hide it, because the truck might move sooner or later. It will, and then you'll have a crack down here. Now I guess if somebody was a TIG welder and they wanted to go through here and TIG weld this, I think you could do it. I really do. You could do the old-fashioned game, but I don't like it up here. I wouldn't do it. Now, I'm not going to do it because in this particular instance, this is part of the truck. And if you want to make your 50-year-old truck look modern, I mean, that's kind of cool. I won't lie. But that's not the purpose in having an old truck. It has to have the feel, the vibe, the original look. And this is, I don't know, I didn't dig any of this out of here on this truck, but I know they sealed them from the factory. Some guys are better caulkers than me, but I caulk pretty decent. And I know these were sealed from the factory because, well, a couple old ones I have are sealed pretty good. And you can still see the dry sealers cracking out of it a little bit. I can't see what I'm caulking, but we'll wipe this off. All we want to do is kind of put a level bead on it. It will shrink down a touch, but that's okay. Should I wipe it off now or later? Probably now. Because it'll shrink and it'll have just a little divot to it. Is divot going to be a good word for this? Be a little low. And when you paint it, you're going to see this body line. Oop, there, you're up there. Body feature. I thought you were still down here. And it's like some guys shave these, I don't know, water rails, or what do you want to call them? And that kind of looks cool, but it looks more like a late 70s truck, maybe an 80s truck. Well, I don't really see the purpose in that. I want it to look like it is, an older truck. I've never done it this way. We're going to try this. Well, that worked all right. Again, whatever you don't wipe off now, you can sand off. This stuff is sandable. But it always stays just a little bit tacky, so it'll gum up your sandpaper. That's going to be pretty good, I think. I put a little too much on. The rest of the way, I'll try to go a little easier with it. Don't get much out of your paper towel when you do this. That's going to seal that up really nice. Again, don't go back and worry about all the little imperfections. It will settle and sink down in there. Now, this looks horrible now. Did you guys forget all about this? I didn't forget. It's all sealed. It's just going to be body work. I don't know how much you guys are going to love that, but we're still going to visit it. Yep, my drip seam sealer on my counter. All right, got it cleaned up. We're good. We're back to it. All right, let's finish this off. Yep, already got too much on there. I'd probably be better off going this way. You guys see? I hope you can't see too good. All right, that's better. I do want to kind of squeeze it down in that crack best I can to get as much material in there and sealed off as I can. Even if I have a little too much. You never know how much this stuff's going to settle. Another thing I liked about this seam sealer is if you're seam sealing something like this, it's got a big V in it, and you can only seal at the top. It'll settle right down in there. Believe me, it'll run right to the bottom of whatever crack or void you have and drip somewhere else. Maybe somewhere you don't want it, but just be aware it does settle, and I like that. You might want a little, higher bodied. This is just a standard or medium, but they make a very high bodied seam seal for that purpose. And like doing the tracks, I'm sure you guys had done a video on them before, but when we get to this water rail, this track, I'll go through it again with you guys. So we got that sealed up. We're just working on the doors now. Finish painting the rest of the day. We'll get you guys down off your high horse. Well, only called you that because you run sawhorses. Well, kind of a sawhorse. Anyhow, there's where I'm at. I don't know where you're at, but I'm glad you're here. And wherever you're at, stay safe. Be happy. I'm going to finish coating this down, get this all shiny. So the next time you guys come, that'll be finished. Yes, I'll get that patched. Get down inside of here and have that all painted and sealed up. We're moving along. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to get to the bottom of it, folks. We're going to get right to the bottom of it. To the bottom of the truck. And do some more work on these door rails. I don't want to get too much done up in this area up here on the truck, because once we flip it and all, there might be a little movement. Let's wait till we get it back in this position to do the top. So there you have it. Thanks for coming. I'll see you in a week. It went fast, didn't it? It seems like just a couple days ago. Yeah, 7, I guess. Anyway, enough horsing around for the day. Appreciate you guys. And we'll see you next week. This one shuts off easy.